Hey guys, Mosh here. Whatchamacallit? Today my topic's gonna be about Assassin's Creed. The entire series, actually, as a whole, so far. And my take on it, and where we're at so far. And, you know, what games I like and what games I recommend to you guys to play if you haven't played it, or if you have played it or if you thought about playing it, you know, what games to buy, or, you know, what are my favorite games and, you know, what I love about it. Assassin's Creed as a whole. As a series. So, practically Assassin's Creed 1 sucks. Keep away from that one. But the SEO trilogy is pretty good. Assassin's Creed 2 was the one I played first. Then I went to Assassin's Creed 1, and then I saw what everyone was saying, like, oh, it sucks. I gave it a shot, don't get me wrong, you know? Because I'm not going to take other people's opinion until I play something myself, you know? You never know, you might like it, you know? I didn't like it personally. Assassin's Creed 1 was a game I didn't like personally, because it was very clunky. Even though it was the first game, and I understand, like, normally, the first games are normally pretty clunky. It wasn't really that good to begin with. To be honest with you. Besides Assassin's Creed 2 not being that good, technically, I mean, for me, Assassin's Creed 1 not being that good, Assassin's Creed 2 being one of the better games. I love Brotherhood more than Assassin's Creed 2. It built on all the mechanics that made Assassin's Creed 2 great and made it even better. Revelations was gameplay mechanic-wise really amazing, because they improved on that on the sequel of that trilogy right there, which is Ezio's trilogy. And added some little tweaks to it. The one thing I loved about Revelations was at Ezio's age, you can see how experienced he was and how much of a badass he was. Even though the story was okay, and it was about him coming to, you know, an assassin coming to his end and coming full circle and you know, coming peace to himself to conclude that story, and him figuring out in life how he was just a pawn in a bigger scheme, you know. Even though technically I didn't like Desmond's story too much personally. Desmond's story was kind of iffy throughout Assassin's Creed 1, 2, and 3, especially Brotherhood and Revelations. It's kind of like they were trying to tell two stories in one game, which I give Ubisoft credit for, because at the time, no one really went to dare to adventure that kind of route for a video game before. I mean, I've seen games with, you know, flashbacks and stuff like that. But the way they decided to take Assassin's Creed in that route, where it was kind of like, you know, you got Desmond's story, and then you got Altair's story, or you got Desmond's story, you got Ezio's story, and they're all related to him, practically. I kind of like that. I kind of like the sense that they attempted the route, but they didn't do it well enough, I felt. They didn't execute a strong enough character, in my opinion. They didn't execute a strong enough character, in my opinion, to support him. I mean, Altair and then Ezio, those were, in my opinion, those were the main characters of Assassin's Creed. More Ezio than any other assassin. Even though personally I love, you know, Altair and Conway, and which is from Black Flag. Connor is pretty okay. First Indian assassin. Which I thought was pretty cool that they did the whole American colonial war route. But back to Revelation. practically Revelation sums up Ezio's story. And they actually re-released it as a trilogy on the PlayStation 3, one disc. So, or if you get it on the Xbox, it comes with all 3 discs. This is the trilogy put into one. Nowadays, you can just get that shit dirt cheap, so. Which is a good thing. There we go. But you can get that shit dirt cheap nowadays. It's one of those things where you can just get dirt cheap. Like, no shit. Besides getting it dirt cheap, that takes me to Assassin's Creed 3, Connor's story. And that's where they sum up Desmond's story, thankfully, and kill him off in like his physical body. I was watching a video yesterday about or on YouTube, how this one guy explains his theory and how Ezio's freaking Desmond's still alive through the Animus, the machine that sent went in through Desmond's mind practically, and went through Desmond's mind practically and helped him look through his past, like for Altair and Ezio and Connor, the assassins who he was all related to in that sense. See, the best part about Assassin's Creed that I've loved, it was always the story of the assassins, not really the Desmond himself, because Desmond was never really the star. I always felt he was like just an unimportant character to the series, because they didn't really build upon him. If he had his own game, I think they would have been a different route, and they probably used maybe like, you know, they would have made Desmond a separate character. It would have been better for Assassin's Creed, and probably who knows, it might have been a good game if they would have put him and then show like little tidbits of how he's connected to Altair through either, you know, content you look through the game, like, you know, or like, you know, flashbacks or some shit like that, you know. They could have laid it out a little bit more better. But to be honest with you, Desmond met his end, and that was it. He was done for. Besides Desmond meeting his end, in the Assassin's Creed games, as far as I know it, physically, I don't know about mentally he's still there, but physically he's gone. That motherfucker's gone. And then Black Flag came along, Ubisoft's first attempt at an open world game. I liked it. It was freaking amazing. You could go anywhere you want. You weren't tied to the story in any way, shape, or form. I'm not saying the other Assassin's Creed you were stuck to the story, but you tied to the story, but you kind of were. If you wanted to, you know, upgrade your weapons and stuff, you kind of had to play through the story a bit to do that. And, you know, that's the truth. Besides playing through the story, to upgrade your character a bit, and progressing that way, you're kind of tied. Black Flag was an open world game that you could just do whatever you want. If you wanted to explore, you can explore. If you wanted to freaking go count hours on the sea riding your ship, great. If you wanted to play the story, great. That story was about, like, I want to say like 15 hours worth of my time, but then again, I was taking it slow. Maybe like you're looking at maybe like a 7 to 5 hour game. Depends on how fast you play it and what you do in that game. It took me 15 hours, so I was playing that game like looking for treasure and upgrading my ship. I got addicted to that. It has a really in-depth upgrade system for the ship. It's really interesting actually how they did it. and I applaud Ubisoft for that game, because honestly that game was incredible. And I was impressed also that the fact that they released it on the older gen consoles, to be honest with you, like PS3 and Xbox 360. And they were still able to release it on Xbox One. I mean on the past generation consoles, and besides putting it on the current gen. I applaud them for that. Then Assassin's Creed Rogue came out, which is kind of before Assassin's Creed, which is kind of before Assassin's Creed, Unity and... Well, it's before Assassin's Creed Unity and a little bit before Assassin's Creed 3 in certain parts, because technically it's a kind of like a prequel. Well, not prequel, it's its own game, but it kind of has like little story fillers to those games. Like it ties certain characters from those games into the series, which is interesting.